Imagine a pack of wolves tearing into a fresh kill across an open field of snow. The smell of blood fills the frozen air, and no other animal dares to come close. Then, a Wolverine appears. Instead of hiding, it charges straight into the middle of the pack. Its sharp teeth flash as it lunges forward with a deep, thunderous growl. The wolves are several times larger than the Wolverine, yet its explosive aggression and lightning-fast movements can leave them visibly unsettled. In some encounters, the wolves may retreat, especially if the Wolverine manages to hold its ground. But wolves are not the only powerful predators this small animal is willing to confront. Its encounters with grizzly bears can be just as tense. If a massive bear approaches a carcass the Wolverine has hidden, the smaller predator may suddenly rush toward it, defending its food despite the enormous difference in size. It doesn't simply stay in one place and absorb the attack. Instead, it relies on speed and constant movement, darting around its much larger opponent, striking when it gets an opening, then quickly moving back out of reach. This aggressive behavior is not simply about being bold. For the Wolverine, defending food can be an essential part of survival. In this frozen and unforgiving environment, food can become scarce for long periods. A hard-earned carcass may be one of the few opportunities to secure enough energy to survive. The story of this fierce predator's evolution and range is just as fascinating as its reputation. Across the world, the Wolverine is the largest land-dwelling member of the mustelid family, and its populations are found across some of the coldest regions on Earth. In the Old World, Eurasian wolverines inhabit parts of Russia and Northern Europe. Their coats can appear relatively dark, blending into the shadowy forests and frozen landscapes they call home. Across the vast Siberian taiga, where winter can hide the sun for days at a time, a wolverine may move through the trees like a dark shadow, its powerful body and broad paws helping it travel through deep snow in search of food. Across the world, its North American relative occupies another unforgiving landscape. From Alaska and Canada to the high ranges of the Rocky Mountains, these wolverines have adapted to some of North America's harshest terrain. Their coats often carry a distinctive pattern of lighter brown or golden fur that stretches from the shoulders toward the tail, giving them a striking appearance. Across the vast snowy landscapes of Canada, a wolverine may travel alone for miles, moving through a territory where freezing winds and deep snow are part of everyday life. Here, survival depends on the same toughness and persistence that have made the wolverine one of the most remarkable predators of the northern wilderness. Its deeper history reaches back through the Ice Age, when vast stretches of the Northern Hemisphere were locked in extreme cold and large predators competed for limited food. The ancestors of today's wolverine lived through these demanding conditions, gradually adapting to frozen landscapes, rocky terrain, and long periods when food was difficult to find. Over time, natural selection favored traits that helped them survive the cold and conserve energy. The modern wolverine is the result of that long evolutionary history. A compact, powerful animal capable of defending itself and its food against much larger competitors. That adaptation can be seen throughout its body. Its strong muscles, sturdy bones, powerful jaws, and broad paws are all suited to life in difficult terrain. A dense coat helps protect it from freezing temperatures, while its compact build helps it move efficiently through the landscape without wasting precious energy. And when it moves across steep, icy ground, its physical control becomes especially impressive. It can descend difficult slopes with remarkable agility, using its claws for traction as it moves through snow and over uneven terrain. Every step is carefully controlled, an advantage in a world where a single mistake can cost valuable energy. But evolution shaped more than just its body. The wolverine's behavior has also been molded by a life in which food can be scarce and competition can be intense. Rather than automatically retreating when threatened, it may respond with defensive aggression, especially when protecting food or territory. When danger suddenly appears, the wolverine can rise onto its hind legs, make itself appear larger, bare its teeth, and confront the threat. This behavior does not mean the animal feels no fear. Instead, it reflects a powerful survival strategy, one that has helped this relatively small predator survive in environments where giving up a hard-earned meal can have serious consequences. That combination of strength, endurance, adaptability, and defensive aggression is one of the reasons the wolverine has become such a remarkable survivor of the northern wilderness. In the far northern regions of the world, where freezing temperatures and deep snow cover the landscape in silence, life becomes a constant search for food. When temperatures plunge far below freezing and larger animals retreat to sheltered areas to conserve energy, one solitary animal continues moving across the vast white landscape. The wolverine, a resident of tundra, dense forests, and high mountain terrain, it has made these difficult surroundings its home. As it moves across the snow, its pace is steady and deliberate, carrying it through a landscape where every scent and every trail can lead to a potential meal. Now let's look at the body that allows this small predator to challenge animals far larger than itself. The wolverine's physical design is remarkably well suited to life in extreme cold. Its thick, oily fur provides powerful protection against freezing temperatures, helping it retain body heat even when the surrounding landscape drops far below zero. After a long winter night, a wolverine can emerge from beneath the snow, shake its body vigorously, and send loose snow flying from its coat. Its dense fur also helps trap warm air close to the body, while the natural oils in the coat help resist water and prevent snow from easily soaking through to the skin. Together, these features give the wolverine an effective layer of protection against the cold, but its body is built for more than simply staying warm. Its ability to move across deep snow is another important advantage. When winter snow becomes several feet deep, larger animals can sink heavily into it, making movement difficult and exhausting. The wolverine has a different advantage. Its broad paws spread its weight across a larger area, helping it stay closer to the surface instead of sinking as deeply into soft snow. This allows it to move across terrain that can be much harder for heavier animals to navigate. In certain situations, it can use that advantage to move around struggling prey, searching for an opening while maintaining its footing on uneven or steep ground. Every part of this design serves a purpose, keeping the wolverine warm, mobile, and capable of moving through snow-covered terrain where many larger animals struggle. If we look closer at the wolverine's senses, we find another set of adaptations that help it navigate this demanding environment. Its sense of smell is especially important. It can pick up scents carried through the air and use them to locate food, including carrion buried beneath deep snow. A wolverine may be moving through dense forest when, suddenly, it stops. Its head rises into the cold air as it samples the scents around it. Then, almost without hesitation, it changes direction, moving through thick brush and across snowdrifts toward the source. Several feet beneath the snow, there may be the remains of a dead animal. That ability to locate buried food can be especially valuable when fresh prey is scarce, allowing the wolverine to make use of food that other animals may have difficulty finding. Its sharp hearing and keen vision add another layer of awareness. While resting on a snowy rise, it can detect subtle sounds from the surrounding vegetation. A faint rustle may be enough to draw its attention toward the source, whether it signals nearby prey or a potential threat. And when an opportunity appears, the wolverine can react with surprising speed, pursuing small animals such as birds or rabbits through the cover. But these senses are just as important when danger approaches. A scent carried on the wind or a faint sound moving through the forest can alert the wolverine to another animal nearby. It may then shift its position, move toward more open or elevated ground, or remain concealed as the situation develops. In a landscape where danger can appear without warning, that awareness gives the wolverine something extremely valuable: time to react. The wolverine has another unusual habit. When it finds a carcass, its behavior can become intensely focused on securing the food. A lone wolverine may travel many miles in search of something to eat, and when it finally reaches a large carcass, such as a caribou, it wastes little time. It tears into the meat, pulling at the flesh with powerful jaws as it feeds. But the wolverine doesn't always stay beside the carcass. At times, it may drag pieces of meat or bones away from the site, carrying them toward a more secluded location, where the food is less exposed to other scavengers and competitors. That habit of storing food is one of the wolverine's most useful survival strategies. It cannot consume an entire carcass at once, so it may hide portions for later. Using its claws, it can dig into the snow and place pieces of meat inside, covering them again beneath the surface. The frozen snow can help keep these food stores preserved. And when winter becomes even harsher, and fresh food is difficult to find, the wolverine may return to these hidden caches. It digs through the snow, retrieves what remains, and feeds on the frozen meat and bones. The wolverine's methods of taking live prey are just as remarkable, revealing that it is more than a scavenger. It is also a capable hunter. When it targets a fast-moving animal such as a snowshoe hare, its approach can change completely. It may keep close to the ground, using vegetation and uneven terrain for cover as it moves quietly toward its target. Then, in an instant, it bursts forward. The chase can erupt across the snow, with sudden turns, rapid movements, and short bursts of speed as predator and prey struggle to gain an advantage. The wolverine's endurance can become critical here, allowing it to keep pursuing when the chase continues and the hare begins to tire. But its hunting tactics can vary with the situation. In difficult terrain, the wolverine may use cover and elevation to get closer to potential prey. Its strong claws, powerful jaws, and compact body give it the physical tools to seize and hold on to struggling animals. Yet large prey presents a very different challenge. Rather than relying on a single explosive attack, the wolverine's greatest advantage is often its ability to persist and exploit opportunities when they arise. Its hunting behavior reflects an animal that can adapt its movements to the terrain, the prey, and the circumstances around it. Whether it is pursuing smaller prey across snow or taking advantage of a vulnerable animal, the wolverine combines strength, agility, and endurance in a way that makes this relatively small predator surprisingly formidable. The wolverine's reproductive cycle and the way pregnancy is timed is one of the most fascinating and unusual adaptations in the natural world. One of evolution's most remarkable solutions to life in an extreme environment. Soon after mating, An extraordinary process begins inside the female. It is known as delayed implantation. Instead of allowing the fertilized egg to implant in the uterus immediately, the female's body can keep the embryo in a paused state for several months. The embryo does not continue developing until the timing is right and conditions become more favorable. It is an extraordinary natural timing system, helping ensure that the young are born around the end of winter, when the environment offers them a better chance of surviving their first vulnerable weeks. But what happens when conditions become especially harsh? If the weather remains severe, or the female cannot find enough food throughout the winter and her condition deteriorates, reproduction can be disrupted. In extreme circumstances, her body can prevent the pregnancy from progressing, reducing the demands placed on her limited energy reserves. This remarkable reproductive strategy helps the species cope with life in a frozen environment. It gives the female additional time to find food, maintain her condition, and build the energy reserves she needs before pregnancy fully progresses. When her body has sufficient energy reserves to support the developing young, implantation occurs and pregnancy continues, beginning the next stage of her journey toward motherhood. As the time of birth approaches, the female begins searching for a secluded and well-protected place, hidden from the outside world. She may choose a deep snowbank, a cluster of fallen trees, or a sheltered space among rocks. Using her powerful claws, she digs through snow and soil, creating a den where her young can remain protected from the freezing conditions outside. The den becomes a dark, concealed refuge, shielded from the worst of the weather and offering the newborns protection during the most vulnerable stage of their lives. Inside the den, a new chapter of life begins. Quiet, hidden, and remarkably vulnerable. When the young are finally born, they are tiny, covered in pale fur, and completely dependent on their mother. Their eyes are closed, their bodies are weak, and they cannot move around on their own. For the first few weeks, they rely almost entirely on their mother's warmth and milk. Deep inside the den, conditions are far more sheltered than the frozen world outside, and the mother stays close to the newborns, using her own body heat to help keep them warm. It is a fragile stage of life. When the bond between mother and young begins to develop, and the next generation slowly grows in the darkness of the den. During this vulnerable period, the female becomes highly protective of the den. Her attention remains focused on keeping the young safe from potential threats. If a predator, such as a wolf or bear, approaches the area and poses a threat, she may respond aggressively, confronting the intruder to defend the den. Every moment outside the den can carry a risk. When the mother returns with food, she may pause near the entrance and shake loose snow from her coat before going inside. Then she settles back with the young, allowing them to feed on her milk. The raising of Wolverine kits is one of the most demanding stages of their early life. Because before long, the predator within them begins to emerge. As the kits grow and their eyes finally open, the den becomes their first training ground. When their mother returns carrying a small piece of prey or a scrap of meat, she may drop it in front of them. The response is immediate. The young wolverines rush toward it, making soft growling sounds as they compete for the food. They tug at the meat, bite at one another, and wrestle as each tries to gain control of the prize. To an observer, it may look like simple play, but these rough interactions help the young develop coordination and practice the behaviors they will eventually need as they grow. There is even more to the wolverine than its physical toughness. Hidden behind that fierce exterior is a remarkable ability to investigate obstacles and adapt its behavior. something that shows it is far more than simply an aggressive animal. If a wolverine comes across a trap set by a trapper, with a piece of fresh meat placed inside as bait, it may not simply rush toward the food. Instead, it can investigate the setup carefully, approaching from different angles and testing the surroundings before moving closer. Wolverines are known to investigate traps and may sometimes find ways to reach bait without triggering them. They can use the terrain around the trap, including snow, to approach the food from an unexpected direction. The result can be striking. The food disappears, while the trap remains exactly where it was. Behavior like this does not necessarily mean the animal is consciously planning several steps ahead, but it does show an ability to investigate unfamiliar obstacles and change its approach when a direct route does not work. Its natural curiosity also keeps it exploring the world around it. A wolverine may spend long periods investigating something unfamiliar, carefully examining new scents, objects, and features within its surroundings. When it encounters food in a difficult location, it may climb steep terrain, dig through snow, or work its way around obstacles to reach it. Its powerful claws allow it to climb and dig with surprising efficiency, opening up opportunities that might otherwise be inaccessible. This constant exploration can help the wolverine become familiar with its surroundings and respond to changing conditions. Rather than depending on one fixed method, it can adjust its behavior as different opportunities appear. Using its senses, physical abilities, and experience to make the most of whatever the wilderness has to offer. During the harshest part of winter, the wolverine faces a different kind of challenge. Not simply finding food, but managing the energy it has. As deep snow covers the landscape and temperatures plunge far below freezing, reaching food becomes more difficult. For the wolverine, every movement through deep snow comes with an energy cost, making the food it has already secured even more valuable. This is where its hidden food stores can become important. A carcass, or piece of meat buried earlier, can provide a meal when fresh food is difficult to locate. The wolverine may return to these stored resources, digging through the snow to recover what it left behind. But a food cache cannot always carry it through the entire winter. When several days pass without a substantial meal, the animal must draw on energy already stored in its body. Fat reserves can provide fuel during these periods, helping it meet the high demands of living and moving in extreme cold. And movement itself requires efficiency. Its broad paws distribute its weight across soft snow, helping it travel through terrain where a heavier animal might sink more deeply. That can reduce the effort required to move from one location to another, an important advantage when every calorie matters. There comes a time in the wolverine's life when the safety of the family must finally give way to independence. As the young mature, they gradually become more independent and eventually disperse from their mother. The familiar world of the den is left behind, and each young wolverine must begin finding its own way through the wilderness. It is one of the most difficult and dangerous transitions of their lives. Now they must find food on their own, navigate unfamiliar terrain, and establish a range of their own while facing competition from other wolverines and larger predators. There are no guarantees during this stage. Some young animals may not survive the challenges that come with becoming independent, but those that do begin a new chapter, establishing their own place within the frozen wilderness. A young wolverine, now physically mature and equipped with the strength, claws, and powerful jaws it will depend on throughout its adult life, pauses high on a snowy ridge. Below lies the landscape where its early life began. For a moment, the familiar world remains behind it. Then, it turns away. Leaving its mother and siblings behind, it moves into the dark forest, beginning the journey toward an independent life. From this point forward, its world will be shaped by the demands of adulthood. Finding food, navigating its range, competing for resources, and surviving the challenges of a landscape where every advantage matters. And if it survives long enough, the cycle begins again. Years pass. The young animal that once entered the wilderness with strength and determination eventually grows old. The years of movement, competition, harsh winters, and constant demands of life in the wild gradually take their toll. Age, injury, disease, or the unforgiving conditions of the wilderness can eventually bring its life to an end. There is no ceremony, no pause in the wilderness. The landscape simply carries on. Young wolverines continue to grow, disperse, and establish their own ranges, taking their place in the same frozen world their parents once inhabited. One life ends, another begins. And somewhere across the northern wilderness, another young wolverine is already learning the lessons it will need to survive. The landscape remains unforgiving, the struggle continues, and the cycle begins again. A close look at the life of this remarkable animal reveals that it is far more than an aggressive or solitary creature. The wolverine plays an important role within the fragile ecosystem it calls home. During the harshest winters, when weakened animals begin to die, it can feed on their remains, helping remove carcasses from the landscape. Alongside other scavengers and decomposers, this contributes to the natural process through which organic matter returns to the ecosystem. It is another reminder that even an animal that may appear fierce has its own place within the greater balance of nature. But the survival of this remarkable creature now faces growing challenges from changing climate conditions, global warming, and increasing human activity across its wild habitat. As responsible observers of the natural world, we should also remember that a wolverine is not a pet. Keeping one in captivity or attempting to domesticate it can be extremely dangerous. Its instincts, strength, and behavior belong to those of a wild animal, and it needs the freedom and space of its natural environment. Its true character can only be understood where it belongs, in the wild. For more fascinating animal facts and stories from the natural world, be sure to like and share this video. And for more incredible wildlife documentaries, subscribe to Fin Uncovered. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, respect nature and protect the wild.